Alrighty, we are live in the house. Widescreen, shirtless, coming at you live from Hawaii. So, he, and actually a lot of my clients, and myself included, was watching a mafia film, and he felt very agitated. He felt very weird by watching this film. You know, previously when we're not sensitive, when we have our shields, these films don't really affect us in a negative way. But he experienced, which is the thing that I've experienced for many years now, which is that almost like a film getting into you, right? Have you ever had an experience of a movie getting into you? So what I want to say about that is, as we become more and more sensitive, and as we drop the shields, we really do become more of a vulnerable meat body. You know, if an alien species were to look down at the human body, the alien may be in awe at how vulnerable this thing is. You know, we can just take a knife and with hardly any pressure cut through the skin, right? The etheric, the chi, the energy body is affected by every single interaction that you have, every hug, every touch, the earth that you walk on, your thoughts, your breath, the hot, the cold, the wind, and it's affecting your very nature, your very chi, right? Your etheric, your layer of energy. So as we start dismantling the little ego, and as we start taking down the shields and all of the armor, as men especially, we're left with a more like an infant state of being, a baby state of being, which is very raw, very tender, right? Now, there are ways to be in your predator so that you're not just a walking big baby, okay? But no matter which way you slice it, as you start getting more clear and more balanced and more connected to higher frequencies and love, you become more sensitive. And the films that you may have watched years ago and felt amazing from will actually, you're going to be receiving the spaces of consciousness from those films. See, actors are experts at passing spaces. They call forth spaces of consciousness above and within their own being. So you are watching something fake, but it's also very real because they are bringing the spaces of those scenes, of those characters, and they've studied the real life characters, and their job is to replicate those spaces of consciousness, right? So I started a TikTok and I have like almost 20,000 followers already. I've only done like 6-7 videos, and the videos one video got 1.8 million views, and it was because I was really passing a space of fear. People are addicted to fear, right? I was being chased by a jaguar in the video. And so what happens is that when we're watching these films, the spaces of consciousness are no longer suited for the new path, right? Now, there is a way to get super clear and grounded to where this film isn't coming into you and you're kind of watching it from the periphery and not letting the space come in. But it's very difficult to do that when you're on a transformation journey, when you're cracking yourself open, when you're intentionally trying to open your energy body, right? These movies are very closed. They're very masculine. They're very, old patriarchal energy that we're moving away from. So the point is that if movies that you once thought were amazing are kind of irritating you, feeling like they're getting under your skin, just skip the movie. It's totally, totally reasonable and par for the course when you start removing the shields, removing the armor, okay? The other question was about hallucinogens and, what do I think about them? And I wrote a blog post, which I'll tag in the comments below, in the info description as well. It's a very thorough blog post about ayahuasca specifically. But I do want to share more about hallucinogens, and I need to take a breath here. I realize that when there's nobody in front of me, I just talk way too fast. So, hallucinogens are, in my opinion, an obsolete technology. Let me start by telling you who they are good for. I believe hallucinogens are good for people who are in serious holes, damaged, suicidal, in horrific places in their life and where other methods have failed. Hallucinogens could be a good method to dig them out of the hole or to give them a new lease on life or a new context for life if they're incredibly stuck and have massive amount of armor and shields and trauma. Aside from that category of people, I do believe that hallucinogens have a net negative effect. And the reason is because this is a journey of subtlety. This journey of consciousness in this lifetime and all of our future lifetimes is a journey of subtlety. To become enlightened, to be on a serious spiritual path, to really know oneself, the subtleties are the gift. In the subtlety is the medicine. The subtlety being the moment to moment, the breath to breath, the millions of micro choices you have throughout a given day. There is no shortcut to becoming whole. It takes a tremendous amount of work to become who you want to be, to become the badass that you really are underneath it all. It doesn't come for free. And it doesn't come in a wave of intuition or a wave of vision. It comes brick by brick, moment by moment, day by day, building the column of spirit, building the connection to the divine with your will. You incarnate your will into this vehicle in this lifetime. Your will that decides and chooses what it's going to do, when it's going to do it. It decides and chooses what sort of spaces of consciousness to entertain and which to spit out, blow away. So, ate too much chocolate today. Part of why I'm speaking so fast. So, breathe with me. When I'm in this space breathing, it's good for you to just breathe too, if you've made it this far. So, these hallucinogens are gross manipulations of consciousness, not gross as in disgusting, but gross as in the opposite of subtle. They are manipulations of consciousness. They dramatically alter your consciousness in ways that you have no idea. I don't care what the best scientists or doctors are saying about what it does to your amygdala and this and that. You have no idea what it's doing to you, because this filter and this reality is so complex, so fragile, so multi-dimensional and multifaceted that if you think you understand what DMT is doing to your brain, you understand 0.001% of what it's doing. Ayahuasca, mushrooms, you don't understand. I don't understand. And what I do understand is that it is manipulating consciousness. It's punctually shifting something dramatically in your consciousness. So we're taking this very, very subtle journey of moment by moment will and learn and subtlety, refinement, becoming a finely tuned instrument, and then you're blasting it with an axe, with a sledgehammer, for a punctual moment in time. And that is, it goes against what, in my opinion, the work is. And I've won the t-shirt, guys. I've drank ayahuasca 32 times. I mean, I've done mushrooms about 20 times, San Pedro 10 times, other things, combo. I've won the t-shirt. I'm not demonizing these medicines. They hold a place, but if you can get to a point where your day is so alive that you have choices to make in every moment, in every conversation, the presence of the moment, the juiciness of the moment, each phone call, each video call, each person that you communicate with is a universe of vision that is activated for you if you allow it to be. You don't need substances. Once you get the message, hang up the phone. And the message that these substances give are, do your work, do your homework, go home and meditate and do the dishes. Time and time again, you'll hear people who drink ayahuasca, the message they get is to choose love in each moment, to meditate more, to eat healthier. All of the intuitions, once you get those, hang up the phone, do it. Do it. There's no shortcuts. And it's not about white knuckling it like, gotta meditate every day. It's that you eventually, when you reap the reward of the work, there's nowhere else to go but to work. There's nowhere else to go. There's the joy of the power of doing your work each day transcends everything. You choose it. Like eventually you have no choice but to choose the stuff that makes you feel good, right? So the ultimate path and the most badass people I've found time and time again in my spiritual explorations are the ones who have cultivated their own column, their own connection, their pipeline to spirit with will and practice. Practice leaves nothing. Practice leaves no room for anything but magic to come to the surface. With enough practice, magic comes to the surface. Plain and simple. Fear not the man who knows 10,000 kicks, but fear the man who's done one kick 10,000 times. Practice. You must have a daily practice if you want to get to where you're going in this lifetime. It's not going to happen from making more YouTube videos and getting more Instagram followers and making more money. It has to come from a refined practice. qigong, meditation, yoga, it doesn't matter, breath work. So again, we're taking a very subtle, finely tuned journey and we're smacking it with a sledgehammer and affecting it in intense, gross ways that we don't quite understand. Do they hold a place? Yes. Are they right for some? Yes. Do you have to see for yourself, know for yourself? Yes. Don't take my word for it. However, I believe firmly that 20, 30, 40 years from now, when we are really moving towards awakened Homo sapiens spiritus instead of this Homo sapien domesticus, well, half of them will still be domesticated and the other half will be awakened. It will be common knowledge that hallucinogens are obsolete technology, that there are better ways there are better paths to enlightenment, to wholeness, to well-being, to harmony. You'll have to see for yourself, know for yourself. The last question was, how do you deal with the excitement of becoming an influencer? How do you deal with becoming a public figure or revealing your truth on the internet? And it's a big, big, big question. I'm just going to gently touch on it. But becoming an influencer has its costs. You know, privacy is a beautiful thing. And when you're an influencer and you're being very vulnerable and authentic, I hope we're still filming here. Yeah, we are. And you know, there's trade-offs for everything. When you are vulnerable and authentic, you really touch people's lives. And at the same time, it creates an amazing feedback loop where your truth sparks other people's light. You have a coaching service, you get to make money speaking your truth, and it's this beautiful feedback loop. The shadow side of it is that you lose some privacy, and that you're sharing your heart and your truth with random people, right? And for everyone to see. So there is an excitement, there is a buzz, there is a astral or a facet of consciousness that comes back to you. So what you're putting out sort of comes back, right? And when you're putting out something that makes people feel uneasy, it just comes right back to you. When you're putting out peace and good vibrations and truth, it comes back to you. But my point is that when you are a figure, okay, most figures don't understand that there is a limitation, there is a limit to how much this vehicle can handle. You know, you look at famous people and they go freaking nuts. And there's many reasons for that, but one explanation could be that the amount of eyes and real estate and mental energy coming their way in the ether is so massive that this vehicle can't handle it. It has to turn to drugs and alcohol because it doesn't know how to separate all of the foreign influence from its own thoughts. You know, we are constantly being affected by others' thought, deed, action, word, right? Thought, word, and deed, constantly. Every day you're affected by others' thoughts, word, and deed about you. So when you're a figure, and I only get 1,000 views on videos now, but I'll tell you, when videos were getting, hundreds of thousands of views, I felt it. It was an energy, a living, breathing energy that was coming back to me. and it invigorated me at the time. But I will say, if that were to happen now, it would, every word I would say in that video would have to be such deep truth for me to feel good about it. You know? I'm going on a bit of a rant here, but what I'm trying to share really with this one client, I'm answering this question for a client and hoping that others can benefit, is that all the energy that is coming your way affects you. And if you don't know how to separate your etheric from the buzz, it will make you sick and it will make you a little cuckoo. So you have to know that there's you, and there's your body and your food and your meals and your girlfriend and your house and your TV, and that's life. Like back in the day, sailors used to use the stars and the sky as a compass. So they were very grounded in this earthly plane. Now we're using our phones and Instagram and TikTok as the compass of reality of what's happening, or Twitter. So we're much more astralized, we're much more digitized, right? So if you, you're gonna get sucked in that world if your compass becomes your YouTube. You have to recognize this is life. You're not life, guys. You're an iPhone. You're a step removed from my life. This is life. Shoji screen, couch, boxers, boobs. I gotta work these out a little better. Anyway, it's my goal to like not get distracted on videos. So, oh my goodness, it's very hard when I'm sitting here alone. So, this is my life. This organic bamboo pillow. This is life. The YouTube, the Instagram, it can't be life. It can't be. It's one step removed, and I have to have a container around it. I'm entering the digital world. I'm entering this, flying through these screens. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, shutting down. Now we're back in life. If we lose that, our cells are gonna bleed. That world is too fast for healing. Degeneration occurs at that level. If you're only in that level, healing occurs here. Slow breath, moment by moment, connecting to the land, connecting to the earth, watching the birds, your compass here, the stars, the sky. The digital can't be the compass. It'll drive you nuts. Others' opinions about you online can't be the compass. It'll drive you nuts. You gotta have a boundary and a container. Oh, Johnny on YouTube, like it's very different when my best friend calls me a dickhead. Okay, that's real. And then versus Johnny Two Fingers on YouTube calling me a dickhead. Those are two totally different things. If they're hitting you in the same way, you have not mastered the art of etheric, astral, chi, digital. So, hope that answers your question to my client, and hopefully some of you have reaped the benefit as well. Do I have anything to share with you? No, that's all. Hope you enjoyed the show. Peace.